Massive breaking news from your Twitter account that we just saw. The 12-team college football playoff will now be a straight seeding model this fall, rewarding the selection committee's top 4 teams with the top 4 seeds in a first-round bye, multiple sources have told ESPN. The 10 FBS commissioners and Pete Bavacqua, who's the Notre Dame athletic director, comprised the CFP's management committee. They reached the agreement this afternoon. Okay, so we think everybody thinks this is smart. We knew that whenever they went to the 12-team playoff, they were going to have to evolve and adapt to make it better for the second year. Did we know they were meeting today on this? And is there any other changes coming? And thank you, Heather, for making time for us on such short notice.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. They are not announcing any other changes today for 2026 and beyond. The other reason that they came to this agreement, remember, it had to be unanimous in order to implement the change for this fall. And one of the reasons they were able to get to the unanimity is because of the financial component that was added to it. Sources told me that if you're one of the 4 highest ranked conference champions, even though you're not going to get one of those top 4 seeds or first round buys necessarily, you're still going to get the $8 million that Boise State and Arizona State got. $4 million for getting into the playoff, and then $4 million for advancing to the next round for a total of $8 million. So to be able to keep them financially whole was part of this deal.
Okay, so I love that, and obviously that source is probably calling you with more information on how they got to it. I think everybody kind of agreed that this was the right move. I think didn't it seem like everybody in football, both fans, coaches, and obviously the committee felt like this was the right move after year one?
Yeah, and last time we talked on the show, I told you that everybody in that room felt like this was the right thing to do for college football, but there were some hangups in there because there were some people in the room who wanted to tie this conversation to try to use it as some leverage for 2026 and beyond, because this is a very divisive issue for the future of the college football playoff in terms of automatic qualifiers. The SEC and the Big Ten want guaranteed spots. Well, how many do they get? Do they get 4? What does that mean for the ACC and the Big 12? Those are the conversations that are going on. And there were people in the room who said, hey, if you want to do what's right for college football now, let's tie it into the big picture and make sure that we're doing the same thing for 2026 and beyond. But it's divisive, Pat. We don't know how.
College football seemingly divisive. Always has been, always will be, but damn it, it is a beautiful thing in its entirety. You just talked about guaranteed slots for these conferences because they want the championship games not to be held against basically their teams. If you fight hard enough to get to the championship game, it better not be held against you. They want if you make it automatically in, which leads to Tone's question.
Yeah, Heather, obviously 12 teams now, and then it was 14 teams was rumored to be the next one. But is there any chance that we skip 14 and go directly to 16, and when could that happen?
There is some consideration for 16, and part of the reason for that is to allow for more at-large teams, allow for Notre Dame, obviously, which has some protections in the future iterations of the next contract of the college football playoff. So I would think it would be 14 or 16. It certainly seems like there's some momentum for 16. But I'm telling you, I am not going to try to predict the automatic qualifiers because there's going to be some pushback. There already is pushback, not only from within the room, but there could be some political pushback as well as far as politicians, people in Congress, all the way up to the top. We'll see what happens with that.
I know the people of West Virginia aren't going to be happy you keep slighting the Big 12 like that. Yeah. But I think the Big 12 potentially doesn't have as good of a seat at the table because West Virginia hasn't been in the conversation for a couple of years now. So once Rich Rodriguez and the boys over there put their big boy pads back on and we're at the table, maybe the Big 12 get a little bit more respect over there, as they should. Got Prime over there, too. Come on.
Yeah.
Big 12 is about to be – don't look now. Okay? Don't look now.
ASU.
Oh, my God. Scatterboo just came. What do you think he's about to do with the future?
Yeah.
Yeah, the SEC needs to, because guess who's coming? That's the Big 12.
Mountaineers.
But it'd be the Big Ten because they're the premier conference in the
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's the Big 10, the SEC, and then the SEC's doing this one. Guess who's coming? Big 12, brother. Okay, don't worry, though. We got the Big Ten. We got enough good eyes to be looking at the top of the mountain right now, though. I'll let you know that. Big Ten's going to – hey, when the Big 12 starts, especially West Virginia, especially in the middle of Big Ten country, should be in the Big Ten, okay? Or the ACC. Very very much should be in the conversation. I guess our academia is just not high enough for
I've
them.
long said I'd be okay with kicking Rutgers to the curb and bringing in West Virginia.
Okay, I like that. I think A.J. Hawk feels the same way. Heather, you need to get behind that because I think your voice means more than any of ours. Go ahead, A.J.
Heather, you mentioned these top 4 teams get $8 million. Can they do whatever they want with that money, or do they have to spread it around to the other teams? Can you use it for NIL? I wonder, is it school by school, or can they tell the teams or the schools how they can use that?
Well, just to be clear, it's not the top 4 teams. It's the four conference champions, the highest ranked conference champions get that money, and they can use it as they will. I mean, think about this. Notre Dame this past season, because they're an independent and don't have to share it with the rest of a conference, that $20 million that Notre Dame racked up for making it through the playoff to the national championship game, that's theirs. So, that's another question in terms of how they share that with the conference. I'm not entirely sure how they slice that up for those other teams in those leagues, but I know that Notre Dame was able to keep every penny of that.
And what do they do with that? I think is AJ's kind of follow-up. They put that into the university, the athletic department, the football team. Like how does that? Do we know where that money goes, or is it just dropped into Pete Bavacqua's bank account and they say, Pete, you did a great job with the Golf Channel. You did a great job with NBC Universal. You're a great athletic director here at Notre Dame. You can just do whatever you want. Like, where does the money go? I think that's a good question, AJ. What is it? Does it build up the university? Does it go back to the do we know that answer?
Yeah, no, my understanding is that it goes back into the athletic department funds, whatever it is that they make, and they could use it how they want to use it in terms of the NIL and the settlement that's going down with a $20.5 million cap to the student athletes. Gosh, I mean, guys, there are so many other expenses, stadium renovations and just all kinds of other things. People hear about all these mega $1 million and forget that there are a lot of other expenses that the athletic departments have to run to be self-sufficient and sustain the other non-rev sports that they have.
Yeah, the non-rev sports, obviously a big deal. Got to keep those. Have to keep those. Need sports, need more sports, need as many sports as we could possibly have. Also helps whenever you just got donors that'll just give hundreds of millions of dollars.
No doubt.
That'll help as well. Yeah, that'll help as well. And we're all trying to find that for our universities. Heather, thank you so much for joining us on such quick notice. Way to break the news and way to be on top of it.